Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the main roster on Twitch Sport. As always, I'm Dan, and I'm joined by Jeremy. Hello, Jeremy. How you doing?
Hello, Daniel. I'm doing very well. Very, very well. I'm talking to you in front of a new giant monitor.
Yes.
I can actually see everything all in one go rather than having to put things in tiny boxes and move things around. It's a whole new world, a new world order, if you will.
New world order.
And I'm excited to use it.
Yeah.
Don't know what that is. That's a bit more hula than it is like NWO.
Yeah, that's not really NWO.
No, NWO is more like porn music than anything. It's like...
Yeah, I don't think that's any better.
Off the top rope. Woo! Wolfie is the first to test out the new welcome method. How's it going, my friend? How is it going? I'm glad that worked. Oh, there you
amazing.
Go. That's two things I'm happy about, and we haven't even started talking about wrestling yet.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
So, we are here to talk about WrestleMania Backlash, which took place on Sunday night. Thank you, Wolfie. I'm quite happy with it. Needs some noise. That's all that needs.
Yeah.
For those that are listening in podcast form, when you join us live on Twitch now, the old school Raw is War nameplate banner pops up on the screen with the person's name. So it just said Future Wolfington is making his way to the ring, which is true. He is.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
A little excited about it, in case you couldn't tell.
Just a little
bit. Yes, so, pay-per-view.
Yes.
We predicted it, as we always do. We'll get to that as and when the matches happen and get through that. But we also had Smackdown on Friday night.
Yeah.
So we've got that to deal with as well. And we had a championship match on SmackDown that we'll talk about. I have a big announcement for us later on. About halfway through after our commercial break, I have a big announcement. An event that is taking place. And other than that, I think we're about ready to get started.
Yeah, let's dive in.
And otherwise we'll be here all night and I'll just get excited as people walk in, which I'm still going to. I reserve the right to do anyway, to be honest.
Well, you do. So
watch nobody turn up tonight.
Yeah, nobody's going to turn up apart from future Wolfington. So
I've just realised that this says episode 60. That's not right. 61.
61. Yeah, 61.
There you go.
There we go.
I fixed it. It's all fixed now.
Sorted. This is professional, this is.
I fixed it on the fly. Whoa, I'm not nobody. That's what I mean. But, like, we need, as much as we love you, Wolfie, we need more than you. We need that banner popping up as many times. Hang on, I've got Jezbot here. Yeah. Let's get this going.
Get Jezbot going, come on.
Send.
Hey!
Right.
Ha! Anyway.
Ahead of WrestleMania Backlash, the Universal Champion Roman Reigns had some family business to take care of on SmackDown. Jey Uso started the show introducing his cousin, the Tribal Chief, who started to talk but was interrupted by Jimmy Uso and his excellent t-shirt that said, "Nobody's bitch." I'm allowed to say that on a family-friendly show because I'll explain why in a minute. Jimmy said, "You might be part of the family Us, but not all of it." And that maybe he and Jey should win the tag team titles so that when Reigns loses the Universal title, they would be, together, the head of the table. Reigns went on to say that Jimmy couldn't do the things that he could. He couldn't carry the company and the family on his back. And if he thought that he could, he should beat Cesaro that night. Jimmy called out Cesaro and he accepted, setting up the main event. In the match, Jimmy got a good showing against the number one contender, but Roman Reigns got involved, causing a disqualification. Jimmy was upset with Roman, saying it's all about you, her, while Cesaro continued the fight. Roman fled the ring, and Jey Uso received 2 neutralizers for his loyalty to the champ.
Yes.
And thank you for the promotion, Wolfie. So, the reason that I can say, I feel like I can say bitch on this stream. I was watching classic wrestling the other day. I watched a Raw from 1999 and a bit of SummerSlam 1999.
Yeah.
And they censored someone saying "God damn," but they didn't censor somebody saying "bitch."
Right. Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, bitch is fair game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just say it 100 times, but when it's on somebody's t-shirt and it's part of the discussion, then more power to them.
Yeah. Go for
it. My Christian ears are very offended. Oh no. Who knew?
Oh no.
Who knew?
To be fair, it is just a female dog, so.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's more like derogatory than anything.
Yeah.
Than a swear. Yeah. I don't like the word. I'm offended by female dogs. All dogs should be male, thinks Wolfie.
All dogs should be male.
All dogs should be wolves rather than dogs. That's a sentiment I can get behind, actually. Wolves over dogs all day, every day.
Yeah.
But I digress. Yeah. What did you think of this whole Reigns family debacle on SmackDown?
I'm quite liking it. I quite like the way it's unfolding with Jimmy saying that he's nobody's bitch, and he says, trying to convince Jey to come back to his sort of side, and yeah, it's just cool. I like it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I was slightly concerned that there was going to be just a rehash of the Jey story from last year. Yeah. But it does seem like it's going to be slightly different. And I don't know. I don't know which direction it's going to go in, and I like that.
Yeah.
As cool as the Jey Uso stuff was, it was fairly inevitable what was going to happen. He was always going to fall in line eventually.
Yes.
But now it's does Jimmy fall in line? Do we see Jimmy get a shot at the title?
Yeah.
I think we might. It's not like there's anyone else.
No, there isn't really anyone else unless we're going to get Cesaro again.
Yeah, I mean,
or we might get Seth Rollins, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that once we get through. But yeah. Yes, and other than that and the next match that we're going to talk about, there wasn't really much to Smackdown at all.
No, it wasn't at all, was there?
No, it was very much a let's get ready for the pay-per-view kind of show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it did the job, I suppose.
Yeah. So, let's carry on, shall we?
Indeed so.
Yeah, so our first championship match of the weekend was, as we said, on SmackDown, with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defending the Women's Tag Team Championships against Tamina and Natalya, which they are now calling themselves Thamalia, apparently. The match was a fairly short one, and the win came as a surprise when Jax delivered the Samoan drop to Natalya, but Tamina came flying in with the Superfly Splash. She pinned Jax to win her first championship and bring home the Women's Tag Team Championships for her team.
Huzzah! For 2 reasons.
Somebody different.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first reason. Somebody different. Yeah. I'm so glad to get the belts off Shayna and Nia. I've got nothing against Shayna or those guys as a team. I much prefer Nia Jax in that team than individually. But it's been done now.
Yeah.
And other than facing the same two teams over and over again, there's nowhere really to go. And I think, Tamina and Natalia. Did you say they're calling them what?
Tamalia.
Tamalia.
Yeah, so it's Tamina, Natalia, Tamalia.
Right. Name aside, cool team. Very well deserved. I think both of these ladies are long overdue a tag team championship. And in Natalia's case, long overdue a championship, full stop.
Yeah.
And yeah, the only thing that strikes me as strange is that they did this on Smackdown. And it makes me wonder if there's some kind of deal with Fox that they have a championship match on the Smackdown before a pay-per-view.
Yeah, because they did it last time, didn't they? They did it.
They've done it several times with the Intercontinental Championship. Since it started on Fox, what was that? September 2019? Yeah. Wow.
Something like that, yeah.
That
How long
gone.
ago?
Yeah, because obviously the entire pandemic was on Fox.
Yeah.
And the premiere was like the autumn before that. So yeah, it's been a year and a half it's been on Fox. But anyway, ever since then, it does seem like they've wasted Intercontinental Championship matches on SmackDown quite a lot. We complained about it quite a lot on this show.
Yeah.
And now we have a slight variation in that we've got the women's tag team titles instead. I'm trying to think what it was last month. Like right before WrestleMania. Oh, they had the tag team championship and they had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, didn't they?
Wasn't it?
So that probably fulfills the criteria. And we'll wait until Hell in a Cell and see if there is another championship match on the SmackDown before Hell in a Cell. But you know, all signs point to that is the deal.
Yes, that's what it seems like anyway.
And if they're going to use women's tag team titles, then I'm fine with it. If they start defaulting back to the Intercontinental Championship, I'm like, no, I want the main thing on the main show. Thank you very much.
Yep. Yeah, that's what the main show's there for. Exactly.
Yeah. But what did you think of the championship win for the ladies?
I'm glad it's changed. I know I said Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax would retain, but I'm glad, as you said, it's changed hands and it's new people to carry it forward. And considering what happened on Raw, it was interesting in the playground, shall we say?
Yes, Well, we can discuss that because there's no other kind of opportunity. No, we're not discussing Raw this week. But we'll probably go by the wayside otherwise.
Yeah, where they were on Alexa Bliss's playground. So this is just me hoping that we're going to have Alexa Bliss and Lily for the tag team championships, because that would just be funny.
It would be cool. I'm not sure what people would think of that, but by the same token, we had zombies on the pay-per-view, so yeah. No, I think it's more likely, as we discussed last week, that she's going after Shayna or Reginald or both. Because that seemed to be what happened on Raw, at least. I don't know. She was cordial to Natalia and Tamina. I refuse to call them Tamalia or whatever it is. She was cordial to them. She didn't do anything rude to them. And I think they're kind of trying to make Alexa a babyface with this gimmick now.
I don't know. I'm just confused.
Yeah. Get on with it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Hopefully now they are building whatever it is towards Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Oh.
There we go. So that was SmackDown. It's 1-0 me. Whoop, 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 whoop. Starting off hot. That's what we like. And then on the kickoff show, we had an unannounced, unscheduled match Sheamus held his open challenge. Once again, not for the United States Championship, just an open challenge to have a match.
Yeah.
There you are then. Ricochet, or Ricochet, answered the challenge, but was defeated with a stiff knee to the jaw. Super Curly One, welcome. You are the Acolyte Protection Agency of Twitch, man. I did wonder. I was like, oh, it's Super Curly One. He's super complimentary. He always has something nice to say. I was wondering how he's going to make it wrestling related, and bam, there it is. Straight in there with the APA reference. You, sir, are a legend. Thank you very much for joining us. Ricochet answered the challenge, but was defeated with a stiff knee to the jaw. After the match, Ricochet stole Sheamus's hat and coat and declared his desire for the United States Championship.
So does Rick Ocquette not have any ring gear anymore?
What makes you say that?
Because he just had normal trousers and a belt on.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and the same on Raw.
I forgot that you are the fashionista.
I'm the fashionista.
I did not even notice what Ricochet was wearing, to be honest. I'm just like, oh yeah, Ricochet. This will be a loss because apparently Vince hates Ricochet. I don't know why.
Yeah, or Ricky, as Sheamus kept on calling him.
Yeah, Rick O'Shea.
Yeah.
Which is, before knowing who Ricochet was, like on the indies, and everyone was just saying, not writing Ricochet. I thought it was an Irish guy called Rick O'Shea. I'm like, man, people really like this Rick O'Shea guy. Like, must be the next up and coming Irish wrestler. And then I saw him on clips from, I don't know what it was, maybe CZW. Was he in CZW? One of the kind of more hardcore indies. And I'm like, oh, Ricochet, pew pew, I get it. Right.
Yeah.
And he's very much not Irish. So, cool. Right. Yes. Great. And then they signed him to NXT. So, luckily I didn't have to make an idiot of myself until this very moment. You two are so epic. You make Edge and Christian look like the Mean Street Posse. Oh, I do like a bit of the Mean Street Posse, though.
I like the next one, he said.
Which one of you Dudley boys can do the best Ric Flair woo? He wants a woo off, and when you come in with an APA reference, that's what you get. So you get what you want when you come in with an APA reference. Are you ready? Just have a little drink.
I'll let you go first.
Oh, thanks. Woo!
You must have done that so loud it didn't actually come through the microphone with me.
Yeah, you might want to take a little step back from the mic then.
Right,
it would have come through fine on mine because it's direct mic, but through Discord, which yours is, yeah, it'll clip it.
All right, ready?
Woo! There we go. That came through. See,
there you go.
I know I'm biased, but
yeah,
I think mine sounds more like Rick and yours sounds more like Charlotte.
I would do something now, but this is a family-friendly show.
Woo!
Everyone's doing it now.
Everyone's doing it, yeah.
I could have been a bit more like Sting.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, that. Wow!
Yeah, that one.
I can't do a Sting one. That's a real, like, from the back of the throat kind of gruff woo. My wife just shouted at me for wooing too loud. Well, tell her don't shout at me. Get in here and get involved in the woo off.
And woo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then Wolfie's dropped in his own a woo, as in a wolf howl, as in a woo.
Yeah, that.
That indeed. Right. What were we saying? Rick O'Shea. How did you feel about our favourite Irishman's attempt at the other Irishman's US Championship?
Meh.
Yeah, meh.
Yeah, meh.
I'm
guessing he's just a filler because Humberto Carrillo's hurt himself, so...
Yeah, and we haven't had an update on him, but other than him going, "I'm fine," apparently.
Yeah.
So we will hopefully get him back soon. But at the same time, who was I was thinking? I'm like, this person needs Damien Priest. Damien Priest needs to be United States champion.
Yeah, he needs something, don't he?
Yeah, they just need to stop messing around with him and push him towards a title because he's red hot right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want Damien Priest to at least have a long feud with Sheamus and eventually win the US title. I don't care for Humberto Carrillo.
Or Ricochet.
Well, no, I do care for Ricochet, but I know that Ricochet's not going to win the US title from Sheamus, so it's just like you're just wasting my time here. Like when it's a foregone conclusion that he's not going to win the thing, then I'm not interested. I muttered something, and she said, "What did you say?" Nothing. I wussed out. She would have people's elbowed me right in the crotch.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was the pre-show. I'm glad that it was that rather than the women's tag team titles. As much as I could have done with them being on the show rather than on SmackDown, it's better that way round.
Yeah.
And the show proper kicked off with a bang. Yeah,
so the WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view opened with the triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship as Rhea Ripley defended her title against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. In the early going, Charlotte ducked away from the action by escaping the ring. Soon, though, she yanked Asuka out of the ring and squared off with the champion. Triple threat turn-taking ensued until Asuka and Ripley combined to superplex Charlotte from the top rope. With all three women brawling on their knees in the ring, Asuka and Ripley continued their partnership, but Charlotte was able to use this to her advantage, hitting natural selection on both women and picking up a near fall. After Charlotte was sent to the apron and delivered a big boot to Asuka inside the ring, she was knocked to the outside and Ripley quickly struck with Riptide and pinned Asuka to retain her title.
Yes, and this was actually one of the better triple threat matches. There was still the element of like, we got one person on another person, and then you swap one of them out, and it's triple threat turn taking, and I hate that. That's why I don't like triple threat matches generally. But this one was okay. They had moments where all three of them were kind of brawling together. I like that part where they were on their knees punching each other. And that Charlotte turned it into natural selection. That was cool. Other than that, it went exactly as we both believed it would, with Rhea Ripley retaining. Thankfully, the only other option I would have accepted was Asuka winning it back. Keeping the belt off Charlotte is much desired and very necessary. So it's now
very desired.
Jez 2, Dan 1. Increasing both our scores by 1. But you're on the board.
Yeah.
There's a start.
I'm on the board.
You're on the board.
I'm on the board.
You have a chance of retaining your prediction championship, the main roster championship.
What, you mean that?
I do mean that. I do mean my baby. There's my baby.
Alright, it's going away. Hide it from you. Don't pout.
This is now a Maki Ito simp channel. Take over. Well, I haven't been watching AEW, and the AEW I did watch, she wasn't on it, so sorry, I don't have the requisite knowledge to fulfill your request, Wolfington.
Oh dear.
Maybe next week. Was she on AEW last week? I haven't watched last week's. I believe she was recently cut from AEW. Oh, then I've got no hope. Absolutely no hope. Macho Man Randy Savage over Stone Cold and Goldberg at the same time.
Ooh.
I can see where you're coming from, and on paper, yes, but I'm an Attitude Era boy through and through. So
Yeah, you are,
it's
aren't you?
Stone Cold, Goldberg, Savage. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello,
Tanzanaki.
I am lurking like a lurker. Well, thank you for lurking like a lurker. If you can find another way to lurk, other than like a lurker, please let me know. Oh, and you put lurkung. I didn't even notice you put lurkung. There you go.
Ha, look, Hong.
Randy had the charisma, true, but so did Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So if you combine the charisma and like kind of overness of Stone Cold Steve Austin with the overness and kind of raw animal magnetism and drive right through you of Goldberg, then that overtakes Randy Savage, especially considering Randy Savage was a wife beater.
Yes.
Let's not forget that. He wasn't the best of characters in the real world.
No.
So,
No. Yes.
saying that, so was Stone Cold. So that cancelled that out.
Not going very well, this is it?
No. Again, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Never actually convicted. Yeah. He was a what? Yeah, he used to beat Elizabeth.
What?
Yeah, he did.
What?
Sorry to break it to you, man, but yeah.
Ruined it now.
I've ruined Randy. So of that, if we're talking about non-wife beaters, then Goldberg is better than both of them.
Yes.
Jake the Snake, he's still cool, right? Yeah, he only beat up himself. Like he didn't treat himself very well, but he was.
No, he didn't treat himself very well.
As far as I know, he was totally cool to other people. So
yeah,
he let down his family, but
yeah,
through addiction and that kind of stuff. But he didn't beat them, as far as I know. So Jake the Snake, it is, and he's still going strong as a manager in AEW. And that's a role that suits him.
Yeah.
Onwards then.
Onwards.
To the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And a sudden change was made to the match during the kickoff show after Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode attacked Dominic backstage and tipped what looked like, and I couldn't really work out what it was, a massive freezer on young Mysterio.
I think it was a sofa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a big purple sofa.
Oh, that's lame. With Dominic unable to compete, Rey Mysterio went it alone against the Dirty Dogs. The champion spent the majority of the match targeting the knee of Rey, but they were unable to put him away because of the Luchador's trademark perseverance. With Rey in trouble, Dominic made his way to the ring and took his place on the apron. Rey refused to tag in his son, but Dom tagged himself in after Rey was sent flying into the corner. The Dirty Dogs lived up to their name and continued where they left off backstage, systematically taking apart the youngest Mysterio. Dolph Ziggler went for the superkick, but Dom countered into a superkick of his own and tagged his dad back in. Rey was able to weaken Roode with the 619 and take out Ziggler with a sunset flip powerbomb into the ring barricade. With Dominic legal, he hit the frog splash on Roode and pinned him to become the first father-son tag team championship team, for lack of a better term, in history. Tag team championship team.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, indeed, and much the same as the women's tag titles, it's good because nothing against Roode and Ziggler, but dull.
Yeah.
Haven't really got any opponents left to fight, so we need some new blood in there.
Yeah.
So that they can face off against new people, and I think they're probably going to go straight into a feud with Otis and Chad Gable. I would suggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I kind of feel like they need Ziggler and Rude back in the singles division for a while.
Yeah, they do. Then they get their own music again.
Yeah, and we can finally find out whether Dolph has got new music or not, or whether it was just.
He hasn't. I looked it up and I kind of I looked at that clip of his entrance and it's the Dirty Dogs theme. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Ruined my fun there. We both predicted that the Mysterios would win. So that brings the score 3 to me, 2 to you.
Lovely.
And before we head off to the commercial break, let's just discuss what Super Curly wanted to put in the chat, because it's a good point. It's a good discussion. You know what we need? A decent wrestling game, then organise a custom battle royal with all your fans, and the headline match, you two against each other. We do need a decent wrestling video game again, because the 2K games have been bad for the last couple of years. I think the last one that I got...
Bringing out a new one, aren't they?
Yeah, it's probably November, same kind of time as usual. But what was that? It was either 2K15 or 2K16. I went out to the shop and bought that day one. I went there at the crack of dawn, turned up, bought the game, went home, played it, and I was like, this is a waste of 40 quid. I absolutely wasted my money, so I sold it on eBay immediately because it was just that bad. Yeah. It was terrible. And then either 19 or 20 was made free on PlayStation Now, so I tried that out and I'm like, no, this is the same game. It's like, I know that mechanics have moved on a bit, but I don't want to have to hit like 13 buttons to counter.
Yeah.
Or have to get it within a freaking like slider that keeps popping up. It's like, no. If he goes to punch me, I hit a button at the same time and I block it. It's that simple. Like, why are we reinventing the wheel here? It doesn't need to be this complicated. Like, you go back to the Smackdown games of the PS2 era, like Know Your Role and Shut Your Mouth, and then the Smackdown versus Raw series. Like, that was perfect. You combined all of the cool like ring entrances and create your own wrestlers, create your own belts, arenas, all that kind of stuff, with a game that actually worked when you held the controller in your hands rather than needing to play on 6 keyboards.
Yeah.
It was, but that said, how do we do it? That's the question. Because if it was on one of the older consoles, then the emulators are pretty good at netplay, but netplay is not functional on PS2 emulators, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
You have to have a think about it.
But I do think some kind of tournament, like based on our viewership and all of our listeners and fans, that would be cool. Imagine that redone online. When I win the Royal Rumble, I'm coming for your belts. It must mean you.
You're not getting any of my belts, boy.
Well, one of them you won't get because it'll be back in my possession. That's the main roster championship.
That won't be.
That I'm going to win back through predictions. But
no, it won't.
Thrilling Invin, welcome in to the main roster. We're just about to take a commercial break. So, in that time, you're a first-time viewer of the main roster. Let us know who your favourite wrestler is and what your wrestling history is. And by the time we come back, you will be fully welcomed and we'll be ready to continue. Stay tuned. After the break, I have an announcement about a special main roster event. It isn't, a battle royal on an old video game. But I would go out on a limb and say that it's better. You can be the judge. We'll be back in 2.
We'll wait in 2.
This is the main roster. welcome back to the main roster. You ready? In the words of Degeneration X, are you ready for an announcement? Something cool?
I am ready.
And it's interesting because you dropped during the commercial break, because we can still talk to each other. That's the nature of streaming and stuff. You dropped that you're like, wow, I've got so many acorns saved up, which are the channel points on this channel. And I said you're going to need them. And that's because the announcement involves a voting experience in which you will be able to influence the vote using your channel points. And it also ties into me asking Thrilling Invin who his favourite wrestler was. I have loads, so I'm going to name three. He said Edge, Triple H, and Undertaker. Well, I'm going to rephrase the question. Who is your favourite current wrestler? Because you may have the opportunity to hitch your wagon to your favourite current wrestler in WWE as we present the special event known as King of the Roster. Now, King of the Roster, if it wasn't fairly obvious by the name and the brackets behind, is a fantasy King of the Ring style tournament. We've got every member of both the Raw and SmackDown rosters. We've eliminated a few in the interest of getting it down to 32, such as tag teams or people who are specifically in tag teams at the moment, and some people who are on injured lists or frankly have no business being in a King of the Roster tournament. So the way that it's going to work is on our show, on the main roster, we're going to have the preliminary round 1, the field of 32, and we're going to bring it down to the final 16. And then on a special Saturday night event in June, we will have the main King of the Roster event that will take us through to have a winner. Winning this final position in the middle here. Which is very, very cool. So here are the participants, if you will. We've got Randy Orton, Mustafa Ali, Aleister Black, Damien Priest, The Miz, Apollo Crews, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Cesaro, John Morrison, Sheamus, Kofi Kingston, King Corbin, who may not be a king after this, Kevin Owens, Riddle, Seth Rollins, that's on the left. The 16 on the right are AJ Styles, Big E, Robert Roode, Ricochet, Humberto Carrillo, Dolph Ziggler, Jinder Mahal, Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre, Angel Garza, Roman Reigns, Drew Gulak, Elias, Jey Uso, Jeff Hardy, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a couple of votes today. Start as we mean to go on. So you can choose, Dan, which contest would you like to kick off with?
Let's kick off with who are we going to go for? Let's go for Jeff Hardy.
The Jeff Hardy one?
Yeah. Who was he up against? He was up at Shinsuke.
So we've got Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. And the reason I mentioned the channel points is because you can use your acorns to put in additional votes.
Yeah.
So, for the price of 250 acorns or channel points, you can influence the vote. Let's set the duration not at 10 minutes, but at a minute. That seems fair for these opening rounds. And the poll has begun. Get your votes in. Thrilling Invin. Well, let's see. I like The Miz, but he's not my favourite. Do I have to choose one of them, or can I have two? Two is fine. Are Jeff Hardy or Shinsuke Nakamura particularly interesting to you?
I've already put my vote in.
Yeah, I just put my vote in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't vote using channel points, but yeah. I can vote using Jezbot, so let's get a vote in there.
Yeah, go on. And I know who you're going to pick.
Yeah. So, make people use their channel points and all that. Of all the matchups that I actually care about, this is this is probably one of them. So Jeff Hardy's running away with it now as we close in on the last kind of 5-ish seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, let's get this open on the main
there we go.
screen, so I can put some results in. Jeff Hardy and Shinsuke Nakamura. Submit. Shinsuke Nakamura is in. I might need to refresh it. That's annoying. It doesn't just update immediately. How irritating. There you go. He's in now. I'll just zoom in. I need to improve this
the winner
aspect of it. There we go. Oh, I put the wrong thing in. My bad.
Yeah, I was about to say Jeff Hardy's the winner.
Yeah. Wishful thinking on my part. There you go. So Jeff Hardy moves on. I will refresh again.
Refresh.
Oof, the problem is I do not have 250 no more. I have 150. Well, hopefully today's field won't be of massive interest to you, but you can save up your channel points by joining in on different streams on the Jez Show. There's one every day, so even if you just throw a lurk in, that gives you the opportunity. Let's do one more now. I'm going to choose this one. Let's come up here. Let's do one on the left, just to...
Yeah.
There you go. We had The Miz mentioned, so let's do this one. The Miz and Apollo Crews.
Yep.
Just get this set up. Apollo Crews. Same as before, 25 bits or 250 acorns for additional votes. And away we go, another minute. Get your votes in.
Oh, who do I vote for? Tough one.
It is a tough one. I do like both of these guys.
I think I'm going to go for him.
Really could go either way. Does seem to be running away with it. Oof, I can't vote, so I'm the Miz. You are mobile. You might need to leave and come back in. Sometimes the voting is a little bit weird. It sounds stupid, but yeah, you've got about 10 seconds. But if you want the Miz, I think you're going to get the Miz, to be honest.
Yeah.
A few seconds left. I'm on laptop. Oh, that is weird. That is weird. I don't know why it wouldn't let you vote. But it does not matter.
Miz.
Because the Miz is the victor.
He's ran away with it.
Let's save that. Let's give this one a refresh. And this will be better by next week. I've just got a brand new monitor. I need to set up the zooming thing again. But there you go. The Miz defeated Apollo Crews on that side. And Jeff Hardy defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. May very well have another vote tomorrow as a GeoGuessr. Just to mix it up a bit. Because the first 32 doesn't matter quite as much that it's on this show. So there you go. And that is King of the Roster. We did talk about a date, Daniel. Was that date okay for you in the end?
Yep, 5th of June, I believe.
5th of June, yes. So 2 weeks from Saturday will be the main show. We'll have our 16 ready for May the 5th. And I will choose something nice to eat on the stream because it'll be a long process. So you've got between now and then to save up your channel points. to really influence the voting. Let's see who we can get in. Right. Who remembers the Rocketeers? Our super curly one. I don't. I really don't.
I don't.
No, that's... No. I'll have to Google them a little bit later. But for now, let us crack on with the WrestleMania Backlash event. We are going into the second half with a score of 3-2 in my favour. Let's see how that changes. Over to you, Daniel.
Yeah. So we had a lumberjack match next, which was between The Miz and Damien Priest, who took on a new twist after John Morrison released the undead into the arena, and the lumberjacks were revealed to be zombies. As the horde arrived at ringside, they chased Miz into the ring, and Morrison, Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, and Adnan Virk away from ringside. When Priest was outside the ring, he took the fight to the zombies, while Miz stayed inside to hide under the ring. Both men eventually returned to the fight briefly, but when Miz locked in the figure 4 leg lock, the zombies pulled both men out of the ring, and a temporary zombie busting truce was formed. John Morrison returned to the Thunderdome and assisted in fighting the undead, but he was soon taken out by the group. Back in the ring, Damien Priest hit the lights and picked up the win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, you go first. Zombies?
Yeah, no.
I kind of wish that they didn't do it for this match.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine with them using WWE for a bit of promotion for this movie, and even having the zombies there, I'm like, yeah. That's...
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't like that they turned Damien Priest's stipulation into something different, basically. The stipulation that he earned on Raw a few weeks ago just became a completely different match. So, yeah. I also don't like that all of the shenanigans around it caused Damien Priest to win, because that brings you up to a score of 3. I predicted The Miz would win, and now we are tied in our prediction contest.
We are tied.
Yeah. Because I think if it was just a regular lumberjack match, then Miz would have found a way to win, but the idea, it was all about kind of getting one over on The Miz, and it's like, no. So, thanks for something new. It was interesting in a sense, but it would have been better on an unannounced match between 2 other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, they could have brought the Sheamus and Ricochet thing onto the main show and done it with them. That would have been fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I get that they have to pay. They don't have to pay the bills. They got a buttload of money, but they want to make more money, so they have to do.
They want to keep the sponsors happy.
Cross promotion and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nerd mode. I cannot judge the spears of Rhino and Goldberg because Rhino did not use a spear. He used a gore, and the gore is a different move.
Oh. See, I can actually do it.
You can. To be fair, I'll take the perfect eyesight over having something to push.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of money on my perfect eyesight, so. Pew pew. Anyway, on to the second of 2 women's championship matches. Bianca Belair defended her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bayley. Bayley dominated much of the early match, doing her best to ground the fast and athletic Belair. Bayley continued this assault outside of the ring, throwing the champion into the ring steps. As Bianca started to mount her comeback, the underhanded tactics of the challenger began to come into play, using the ropes for leverage during pinfall attempts and raking the eyes of Belair out of the referee's sight. Bayley pulled Belair in by the hair and hit the Bayley to belly, but only got a 2 count. She went to use the hair again, but Belair countered into a pin and held Bayley down long enough to achieve victory.
Yes.
First things first, this did absolutely nothing for our predictions because we both correctly predicted that Belair would win. So we're still tied. We're just tied at 4 instead of 3.
Yep.
What did you think of the match?
It was alright.
Yeah.
It was alright. Yeah. It's alright.
This is the case of it was everything that we kind of expected it to be. We expected Bayley to provide that heel presence that Bianca Belair would then overcome with her super baby faciness.
Yeah.
And it's just a credible opponent for Bianca to defeat and move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm now interested to see, as we've been talking about Goldberg, who's next? Who's going to step up for her championship next? Because we are running out of women.
Yeah. Hopefully someone new. I don't know who's new.
If you want new, then the interesting thing that I can remind you of is that Mia Yim was transferred to Smackdown after they broke up Retribution.
Yeah.
She hasn't debuted yet.
Wrecker Yim,
yeah. Stephanie McMahon, yes. I would love to see Stephanie McMahon get back into the ring again, just because it was fun. Like, I think by modern standards, Stephanie McMahon as the women's champion was probably a travesty, but at the time, it was wonderful because she was such a good heel. Yeah, such a good heel.
Yeah,
I really love Stephanie McMahon as women's champion, especially when it was Lita that kept trying to go after the championship, and then eventually. Spoiler alert, but it was 21 years ago. Eventually, she finally managed to beat her for it. And it was...
cool.
But, yeah, it was what it was. I'm more interested to see what comes next. Yeah. And so, we shall move on.
So, WrestleMania Backlashes. Double main event began with the WWE Championship Triple Threat match with Bobby Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. The match began fairly evenly, despite Lashley and McIntyre teaming up on Strowman on multiple times, but both men returned their attention to each other once the Monster Among Men was out of the way. With Strowman sent over the barricade, Lashley and McIntyre fought up the ramp and the almighty WWE Champion was thrown through the LED boards on the stage and disappeared. Strowman took advantage and jumped McIntyre, sending him back down into the ring. The pair fought aggressively once again, and as McIntyre went for the Claymore at ringside, he was caught and powerbombed through the announce table. This didn't slow him down though, as McIntyre returned to the ring as seemed poised to hit a Claymore in the middle of the ring on Strowman, but as he set up, Lashley returned to the ring, tossed Drew out of the ring, hit the spear on Strowman and retained his WWE Championship.
Much like the women's one, this wasn't too bad as a triple threat.
No, it was alright.
As triple threats go, and I hate them, both of the triple threats on this pay-per-view were fine. Yeah,
and I liked this one because it was just big guys beating the hell out of each other.
It was thrown very aggressive. Yeah. Super
going
aggressive.
Through the LED boards, going through the tables, all that sort of stuff. So
the moment he went through that LED board, I was like, oh, right, great, my prediction is dead. Because he's just going to chill out back there, and then all of a sudden he's going to turn up smash whoever's in the ring, probably Strowman, because they don't want to have McIntyre lose. And then he'll win. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So congrats, you've taken the lead. It's now Jez 4, Dan 5. Oh, what a shame your camera's frozen. Did you do the thumb thing? Yeah.
Turn off the guns.
The guns broke the internet for a while.
That's because they're just that good.
Whatever. And I don't have much more to say about the match. You're right. It was good to have these big guys just smash the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
We can talk about what happened on Raw as well. It seems like we're going away from Strowman and McIntyre now, and that Lashley is maybe going to be facing Kofi Kingston, because Kofi got a win over him in a non-title match at the end of Raw.
I am glad that he's going away from McIntyre, because I've kind of gone a little bit sour on McIntyre, because he's been shoved down our throats a little bit like Roman Reigns was. You know, it's kind of like, yes, we get he's good, but does he have to keep on doing it?
It's just constant, isn't it? Yeah. It's not even really kind of shoved down our throat, but it's just he has been in the title picture for over a year now.
Over a year, yeah.
And it's just we need something different. McIntyre needs to go off and do something else. Yeah. But here is the thing, and I mentioned to you before we went live that I noticed something while I was putting the brackets together for the King of the Roster tournament.
Yeah.
There aren't any main eventers on either show that haven't been for the championship in the last year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just going to go back to the King of the Roster page just to help my example for a minute. But you go down this list, and this is Raw and SmackDown combined, okay?
Yeah.
So Randy Orton, right? He had his shot. Then you've got a few people that weren't main eventers. Miz had his shot. Bobby Lashley is the champion. Strowman just had his. Cesaro's just had his. Sheamus had his shot. Kevin Owens had his shot. Seth Rollins is the only person really that you could say hasn't really had a championship shot recently, but he's not going to face Roman Reigns because they're both the biggest heels in the company, so nobody there. AJ Styles you could do, but he's busy with the tag team championships. Not main event. Jinder Mahal you could get in there, but I think they want to stack some wins up behind him first before they do that. Sami Zayn, again, you'd be putting a heel against a heel. It's not really going to work. And Shinsuke Nakamura, suppose you could go in that direction, but he seems to be entering a feud with Corbin that may lead to another King of the Ring tournament, possibly. So you go down the list, and there's nobody really left to face either champion on either brand.
No, there isn't, is there?
Without treading the same ground that we've tread in the last year.
Which is disappointing.
And when last week we spoke about, well, who else can they have like as the job squad in the Lumberjack match? And we were like, well, they released a lot of the chuff, so who else is left? There was only one person that I got rid of from the field because like they just haven't been on TV at all. Like the others are in tag teams or injured or whatever. The only person that is still signed but is just not on television ever is Riddick Moss.
He's still a thing.
He's still employed. He's still on the Raw roster.
Jesus.
And so other than him and Slapnuts, whatever his name is, Aussie guy from Retribution on SmackDown, everyone else is pretty much accounted for. They don't have anyone to build. Keith Lee, but I don't know what the deal is with Keith Lee. But pretty much everyone is accounted for.
Yeah.
The WWE roster is thinning rapidly.
It is, isn't it?
And if they
I think we need to go over there.
I think, well, yeah. and try and entice back some of their main event talent. Like the idea that they let Samoa Joe out of the door with how thin this roster is, and it happened all of a sudden. Like, didn't even notice it happening. But come this time next year, if they don't create some new main eventers, they're going to be in big trouble. Big trouble.
Oh yes.
Start putting people in front of a crowd. You start increasing the amount of shows that they do. You get more injuries. I think it's stupid they kicked off Samoa Joe. Yeah. We discussed it before. We think that the WWE doctors wouldn't clear him, and so he's gone off to be cleared by not as thorough a doctor and wrestle elsewhere. But no, I completely agree. Letting him out the door was stupid.
Big mistake.
Even if they'd have just kept him around for commentary. If he couldn't ever wrestle again,
brilliant.
Then commentary. Uncanny Karloff, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome into the main roster.
Ooh.
We're just about to crack on to the main event of WrestleMania Backlash. We've just thrown in an off-topic conversation about how thin the WWE roster is. If you're trying to bring up an alert for your follow, I'm afraid there isn't one right now. I haven't set them up properly for the main roster. That's coming soon. I just changed everything up. I don't know if the error was... It's come up twice in the chat. I don't know if that was him going, oh, nothing happened, I'll follow again, or whether it is just my system throwing it up twice for no reason.
Yeah.
I hope he does go to AEW or something like that. I'd like him to go back to Impact. I think if he went to Impact, again we're digressing, but if he went back to Impact, he could be the person that is able to take back the Impact World Championship from Kenny Omega and bring it back into the company.
That'd be amazing.
Because I don't know who else they've got that could do that. To be perfectly honest.
No.
Right. Shall we main event?
Let's main event.
So in the main event, Cesaro got his first World Championship match as he faced Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. After taking exception to something Jey Uso said in the gorilla position, Reigns made him stay backstage, leaving only Paul Heyman accompanying him. This did not affect Reigns' game at all, as he and Cesaro had a hard-fought match both in and out of the ring. Despite kicking out on several occasions, Cesaro found his shoulder and arm weakened by the tribal chief. Reigns looked poised to win, as he had many times before with the guillotine, but Cesaro picked him up, slammed him down, and locked the champion in a sharpshooter. Reigns escaped, capitalizing on the work that he had done on the arm of Cesaro, and eventually Reigns made his challenger pass out in the guillotine. After the match, Jey Uso came to the ring and placed the tribal chief's lei around his neck before beating up on a defenseless Cesaro. Seth Rollins then came to the ring and continued the beating, destroying the already injured arm and shoulder of the Swiss Superman with a steel chair.
Another fresh suit from Seth Rollins.
Yes. Yeah. He and John Morrison are competing for that title of the drippiest man in WWE. And I don't mean drip as a derogatory, as in, oozing machismo, as Razor Ramon would say.
Yeah.
And I really don't know who's winning. I think wardrobe-wise, Seth Rollins is winning because he drops a different suit every day. But in terms of hair and cool, I think it's John Morrison. So let's smush them together and create one massive puddle. Is that what happens if you put too much drip together? Do you make a puddle?
I presume so.
Yeah.
Seth Morrison.
It's just science, Drip plus drip equals puddle. Let's get Bill Nye in here to sort this all out. Anyway, what did you think of the main event?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Good. You actually saw Roman Reigns actually win on his own.
That's the only thing I'm I'm kind of a bit about. Because they bigged up Cesaro not having had a World Championship match before. And I'm like, well, yeah. He couldn't beat Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns beat him clean, so that's why, isn't it? Because you can't beat him. So, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the clean. I like that he went down there clean, but I was kind of hoping for Jey Uso to turn up at the end. Or if Rollins was going to come down, then Rollins to appear. I just wanted there to be some kind of, not excuse, but reason for Cesaro not winning, rather than him just being beaten clean by, a very credible Reigns. Don't get me wrong. I love heel Roman Reigns. I love that he's gone all in on the, nobody can touch me type aspect to his heelness. That's cool. Yeah, the clean victory just didn't sit right with me at all, really. Just my opinion. And following up on what you said earlier, I think it looks like we're having Rollins and Cesaro in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, having a feud for a bit again.
So that takes Reigns away from Cesaro and from Rollins. So now, in our roster of none, who does Roman Reigns face?
Probably going to go for the Jimmy Uso side of things.
I guess so, yeah. I watched the other matches and I don't feel much hype from it, unlike the old matches. There are some that still have that give me at least that excitement of the Attitude Era. Don't get me wrong, pay-per-views in the Attitude Era were 100 times better than they are now. But that's not to say I don't enjoy many aspects. That's why this podcast exists. It's to kind of try futilely to hold WWE to a higher standard and be like, no, credit where credit's due. That was a good match. That was cool. That was booked well. It was wrestled well, etc., etc. But then at the same time go, no, there is no excuse for something being this bad. And that comes up a lot. This feud, every feud that Roman Reigns has been in since he returned from COVID fear, as it were, I've been in on. I've been enjoying Roman Reigns as a heel as much as I enjoyed heels from the Attitude Era. I've enjoyed this feud with Cesaro. I enjoyed his feud with Daniel Bryan. I enjoyed his feud with Kevin Owens to a point until they really kind of hammered that home 6 matches in a row. So I don't have a problem with this on SmackDown. No. There's lots on SmackDown to like. Raw, on the other hand,
Raw.
Okay,
meh.
It's difficult to get excited about Raw at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's 3 hours, man. 3 hours is difficult to do for anyone. I don't know why it's still 3 hours. Now that they've got this partnership with NBC Universal for Peacock, can't they just say, look, you've got a whole load of other content from us. Hell, we'll make you some more stuff. Can we just make Raw 2 hours again, please?
Yeah.
So that we don't have to have Angel Garza stick roses up Drew Gulak's arse anymore.
Yeah. Or in his mouth.
Just a time filler. That's all that is.
Yeah.
They're things that would have happened on, Main Event or Heat or Metal back in the day. Velocity. Any other C show. They just don't need 3 hours. They haven't got enough people on the roster to fill 3 hours.
No.
We've discussed that already. So it's time to give up on the 3 hours thing. I think.
Come on, WWE.
Are we going to get another draft soon? We've only just had one. But already it needs mixing up.
Yeah.
You might have to force some of the guys that are in NXT to move up.
Yeah, they'll have to offer him quite lucrative contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you get though? You make Finn Balor come up for a bit?
No, because he's just about to do stuff with Karrion Kross, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, well, he's about to go into another championship match. And so if he loses that, then maybe he comes back to the main roster for a bit. Need to decide what you're doing with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt needs to be there or thereabouts somewhere.
I have a feeling he's injured or something.
I think they've just given up on the Fiend character, and they want to put that gimmick on Alexa Bliss, so they're just keeping him away.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason for it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's quite happy to just spend some extra time with his fairly new kid. He's only very recently become a father for the first time, so I'm sure he's happy with the time off.
Yeah, sit at home, get paid.
The only match I would want to see is Lesnar versus Reigns, considering that Reigns has a heel turn. I want to see it in action. And WrestleMania in 2019 was like 5 hours, and I skipped the matches I want to see. WrestleMania in 2019 was like about 7 hours, I think. It was a very
long
show.
one.
Yeah.
That was long.
I remember the 2017 one being very long.
Yeah.
Took me all day to watch it. I'd only just got back home from the hospital after breaking my leg, and I was like, okay, let's watch WrestleMania. That'll pass a couple of hours. Took up my whole day. So it was useful then, but I don't really want to spend my entire day watching one event. I think he's still heartbroken with Brody Lee's death. Well, Bray Wyatt, maybe. Oh
yeah, that's it. He's not ill. He's having mental issues at the moment.
Oh, is he?
Yes, that's what I remember now. He's having mental, psychological problems at the moment, so he's going through therapy or something. So, yeah,
well, that's
so
a
that's
shame.
probably why he's away for a bit at the moment.
I did not know that.
I mean, the character doesn't really help that.
I expect not. No. Well, get well soon, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
From all of us here.
Yes.
I did not know that at all.
We love the Fiend character. Please bring it back.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So, we both said Roman Reigns would win.
Yep.
And so there was no real way of me coming back. And that means in our first of the new season of predictions, as it were, you are one step closer to retaining that championship with a score of 6-5. So you are 1-0 on our road to SummerSlam. The next round of predictions runs through to SummerSlam and including SummerSlam. Now, our viewers did really well in their predictions, and actually, we have got a 4-way tie at the top of the standings right now, because 4 viewers got 4 matches correct. That was the highest from our viewership. Yep. So Rooster Beast, Always Be Chatting, 2MW Matt, and Little Cute Girl 86 sit at the top, joint first.
Ooh.
So it's still all very much to play for.
It's very much all to play for.
So join in on the next prediction game for the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. You can do so on Discord. The link to our Discord is there. That's the Primetime Streamer Network, which is our team of streamers. In that vein, I'm going to cover you over for a second, Dan. Sorry about that.
Thanks.
Tomorrow on the Primetime Streamer Network, it begins with Matt. Just peeks around the outside. Hello, I'm still here. Mass Effect Andromeda with Mama S at 6:30 p.m. BST. This is last week's. What the hell's going on? I did update it. Okay. Yeet.
You sure?
Yeah, I did definitely update it. I don't know why it hasn't done it.
We're professional here.
Yeah, from the top of my memory, Mama S is playing A Way Out with all Any Button Gaming, a collab. I'm doing GeoGuessr at 8:30, and I think Rooster Beast is doing the Batman the Telltale series tomorrow. Either that or Rocksmith on the bass guitar. But I did update that. Nothing's gone right here. Like, I noticed, I know I updated the episode number at the beginning, but then as you were talking in the middle, I was like, oh, the date's wrong too, so I updated that on the fly. Terrible.
Smooth.
Terrible. So, as we close and we start to give the pay-per-view a rating out of 5, I'm going to run another King of the Roster match, because why not? So, in our first round, AJ Styles will take on Big E. You have a minute to vote, and you can use channel points or bits to influence that once again, if you so wish. So, as is probably the only rating system that we can use for this show, how would you rate WrestleMania Backlash out of 5 zombies?
It's a tough one. I think I'm going to go straight down the middle and go 2.5.
Yeah, I think 2.5 is fair. I was thinking about 3. But I think the zombies brought me back down to 2.5.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't mind them being there, but to be involved in a match that they've booked and hyped, no, I don't. Would have been better as just a little filler with 2 people who didn't have anything better to do, to give some other wrestlers some time on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
3.5, maximum 3.5, says Thrilling Invin. More generous than us. More generous. Interesting. Considering he mentioned that he prefers the older stuff, but, you know, who doesn't?
Yeah.
I'm going to continue my watch of 1999 as I've been doing. And sometime this month, as the month starts to draw to a close, you and I need to sit back down for the next 3 episodes of NXT Season 1.
Yes, we do, don't we?
And your mum may be involved in the next one as well.
Yes, my mum may be joining in, yeah.
Which will bring
interesting.
A whole other element. You're going to have to set up the microphone between the two of you so you can hear her as well.
Yeah,
that should be... We might need to, not family friendly, that one. We might need to put a warning that one is not family friendly.
Yeah, possibly.
So stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining the Discord, Thrilling Invin, and anybody else that has done so silently. Let's get ready to close. AJ Styles won that round, so he advances to the field of 16. We'll have more votes coming up across various streams on the Jez Show, and we'll finish that off next week on the main roster and get ourselves... We've got 1 week, one main roster before, or 2? We must have 2. We've got 2. Okay, so we've got 2 weeks. We've got plenty of time to get that thing down. As we close, Future Wolfington has redeemed Slurpy Slurpy. He'd like us to drink. Have you got any left?
I don't have anything left.
Okay, I'll drink twice for you then.
Drink for me.
And again. There we go. That's our show. Lane, thank you for coming in. We're just finishing. But,
good timing.
Stay tuned for the raid. We'll go and find someone to share our love with. Until next week, I've been Jez.
And I've been Dan.
And this has been the main roster. Thank you for joining us. Good night. Put the belt down.
Grr.